video interactive training. So if you see behind me, I have lots of stuff set up. I have water, I have it all. And I didn't put makeup on except for eye makeup today, and put my hair up in a bun so we can actually do a hands-on training, which I've never done this before like this. Usually I'm in person, but I feel like it just goes right along with it. We are going to fly through information. I'm also going to ask you a lot of questions. So if you get the deer in the headlights look, totally okay. Your questions are just as important. So don't feel intimidated, no matter where you are on your aesthetics journey or what your role is. No question is a stupid question.
You know, we have the new location at the spa, which has been going since February. Totally 20s Gatsby, super fun. The ilike product has just made my life so wonderful. I've never had so much fun being an esthetician because of the results. And as you know, I've sold out of my product that I have. It's given me the tools to be able to be like fully successful. So rather than, I mean, financially making like $100 a facial, I'm now making like 165 and selling 6 to 800 in product. So the yogurt power pill, oh my gosh, that facial is just like insane. There's so many, but I also use the product in I use Chinese herbs for my pedicures that I do in my day spa that we do. And I also have incorporated the ilike, like the algae nettle, the wash. There's just so many things that you can use this product for, and you don't have to sell at all. Some of you may already be using it. It's just so much fun because the results are beautiful, what the product does. And it's really easy to keep that customer connection where you just keep rebooking the facials and they spread the word. And so it's helped me really up my game in the spa world, especially in Klamath. I've never believed in a product so much just because there are so many different, you know, I call it the witchy woman product.
A
I have
what?
a
The
witchy
witchy.
woman. I feel
That's
like a
nice.
little witch, like I'm
I
making
love
all of
that.
these potions. That's what I say. So like, I'm making my potions. And it's really weird. Amy was talking about, I don't know if you guys have seen when it sits, it ferments, like it bubbles. That's why I feel like Harry Potter, like a witchy woman. Anyways, I've been doing this since 2019. I've used 4 different lines throughout my career, and I will never not use this product.
Kelly did give me some samples and I started last Thursday night and I'm just like blown away at like how amazing, because I'm very new to this brand. I've never heard it before. And the amount that you use is just mind blowing to me. And I'm like, is it, no, this isn't going to be enough, you know, because I'm like, probably I overdo everything just to make sure that I did it right, you know. But I mean, I literally am just using a little pump, you know, a little pea size, and I'm just amazed. And I, you know, just one of the girls told me to make sure, you know, the skin is not like sticky or I don't feel any residue because then I've used too much. And I feel like I can see a difference, especially like how clean it is when I'm done just using the cleanser, the mineral.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the names of everything just yet, but I promise you I'm going to be, you know, you're not going to know I'm not an esthetician at the end of this. Okay.
Take as many notes, highly recommend, because when you're trying to master something, no matter whether it's skincare or whatever it is, it takes multiple times of listening, doing, watching, experiencing yourself in order to really get a good understanding for it. So if you ever need to pop out because you want to go get one of the products that we're actually using here on this training, feel free to do so. I encourage that, because hearing something really, I mean, I know for me, if I'm not sitting at least listening and taking notes, I'm not going to learn a thing. Number one. Number two, if I can get my hands on it and do it, that's a whole different ball game. So help yourselves by using whatever tools you need in order to absorb the information fully. Again,
And
I am
Amy, real quick, I went through live trainings with you forever back with those. Where can Jen go to see those, to watch, take those classes?
so
Those,
I sent you all of the private training links again.
okay, I've got it. Yeah, so it's in that.
So there, it not maybe not necessarily one that you attended, but Yeah, it may or may not be. I record some of them I don't. It depends on.
Okay, then she's got them. Perfect.
Okay, perfect. All right, so again, any questions that come up in the meantime, let's get started. So where we're going to start, first of all, is I'm going to share my screen for just a bit, then I'm going to go back, is you really need to understand the foundation of ilike. And I know that sounds boring, but that is really the highest selling point. If you really get the big picture of what ilike is, how it's made, where it comes from, what it does and does not have, that's going to arm you with that education and those talking points to speak to your people. Because if you just pull up a bottle of product and go, this is a great product for your skin, and this is what I recommend you use, that's fine. But when you are discussing, well, I've never heard of ilike. What is that? You need to have some quick bullets that you can discuss based upon how you've gotten to know your client. We're always going to assume that prior to a client being face-to-face with you, they've done their due diligence and done a little research on your spa, number one. So make sure that your websites or however that they're connecting with you are mobile friendly, because 80% of people are on their phones. Make sure that it's simple to read, simple to follow, simple to book. Then when they make that appointment, make sure that you have substantial intake forms and your estheticians are reading those intake forms. Also make sure that you have some sort of a system for keeping records on each of your clients. Because if, God forbid, you didn't show up for work, and I know some of you are single Esties, but just in case, and that client comes back and they don't know anything about that client or what you did the last time, that's a problem for the spa. So just like medical records need to be kept, your esthetician records need to be kept. Are they having a baby? Are they going through a divorce? Do they have a new diagnosis? Are they on some type of new medications? You need to have these pad your appointments to discuss these things, because not only does it give you a better insight to what your client needs on their skin at this point in time, it can give you insight on how to book appointments out in the future. It makes sure that you're covered legally, that you have all that information. God forbid you put something on that's contraindicating, and that you're getting to know your client and that client feels seen and heard. You're going to hear that a lot as a resounding theme throughout this. You cannot sell product just based on what it does, a price point, and that is it. People buy anything because they feel passionate about it. And if you are not passionate, they won't be passionate. Period. Enough said. So let me share my screen with you here real quick. So real quick, some of you have seen these before. I know, Alex, you've been through, and maybe Sephra, you've seen these before, but they're really good to go through really quickly so you understand. When ilike was developed, it was over 66 years ago by Aunt Ilche, and she was a first or second generation herbalist. She came up with this during communist Hungary. She worked with her mom in the kitchen, and they planted, harvested, and produced in their kitchen and sold in Hungary on the black market during the time, because capitalism was not a thing, but people needed skincare. People in Europe historically take better care of their skin starting at very young ages, comparatively speaking, with us in the United States, because we are typically not proactive, we are reactive. Oh no, something's wrong, we need to start fixing it. And with the condition of our food these days, it's even more of a press to start preventative skincare. So if you look at the screen, the difference between any type of natural product and a synthetic product is pretty obvious to most of us. But what you really need to understand about the difference between natural and synthetic is, just like, if we're going to make a lot of references to the gut, just like the gut has to go and scratch its head when you eat an Oreo cookie and try to figure out how to break it down and distribute it through the body. And it inevitably causes inflammation and other issues because the body doesn't recognize it. The same thing is true with what you place upon your skin. Just like the gut is a biome, the skin is a biome. The skin has different pHs throughout, and pH is a very important aspect of all skincare, especially ilike skincare. Now, when you put something onto your skin, it absorbs into your bloodstream within 26 seconds. That's a really fast go. Think about any type of products that you put on your skin, cleaning substances and things of that nature.
How many
It
seconds?
goes into your bloodstream. And again, your body has to process that. So if it's a natural, it's a plant and a mineral. It comes from pulping, fermentation, cold pressed, steam distillation. Everything that we have is hand planted and hand harvested, meaning there are no machines that can give off petrol emissions running through our fields. We do have videos available out there of the whole process from start to finish of what it actually looks like. It's kind of mind-blowing to think about that in the United States because we just don't have that here. Secondly, anything that's synthetic is going to be an ingredient created through a chemical reaction derived from petroleum, minerals, and other sources. Obviously, it's going to be chemically synthesized in a lab. And all of these synthetic ingredients are designed to mimic natural substances or provide specific functions. Also, talking about the composition of the ingredients. So in a natural compound, it's a compound that's already present. It's not something that has to be created. Therefore, it creates those therapeutic properties that are derived from these complex molecules. And they're going to vary depending upon the plant species, the growing conditions, and extraction methods. So for example, you might get a bottle of Vita C booster that's one color. And then in the next order, you get a Vita C booster that's a completely different color. We don't manipulate the color, the fragrances of our products so that they're all the same every time you buy them. It's based upon the batch, the harvest, the growing conditions of the time. Anything that you purchase from us, especially let's talk about maybe grape stem polishing scrub. You'll notice, just like anything organic, it might create a sheen on top of the product or get crunchy around the edges. Just stir it up because there are no compounds to give it a consistency throughout because then it's synthetic. Obviously, synthetic products can irritate, cause allergic reactions, disrupt your skin's natural barrier. And that also comes when clients are using multiple different lines. Well, I have this product, this line for my toner, and I have this line for my cleanser, and I have this line for my moisturizer. There's a great percentage of interactions among those products that can cause issues. Maybe not initially, maybe it's not something you can see right away, but down the line can eventually break down the skin barrier. Can you go out and buy a synthetic, very high percentage TCA peel or a glycolic peel or something along those natures? Not saying that we don't use certain natural acids, because we do. Yes, you absolutely can. Yes, will you see a quick turnover and a very dramatic result in the beginning? You absolutely will. Am I telling you not to use those? No. What I am saying is that proper skincare is just like losing weight. It's a process. If you go on a crash diet and you drop 20 pounds and then you start eating normally again, what happens? Typically, you put back on more weight than you actually dropped in the beginning. Why we have so much type 2 diabetes these days, that roller coaster. Well, if you think of the skin as a biome as well, if you go through the process of taking a little bit longer to make changes in the skin, that is lasting change at a cellular level in the skin. It is not a quick fix. Quick fixes don't work. Ultimately, if you do a high percentage synthetic peel, you're going to have to take time to heal all of that inflammation before you can go in and do anything else on the skin. And that's fine. If you want to do that, go for it. But when you're looking at natural versus synthetic, people that come into you for issues, and To be fair, 90% of people that walk in the door and make an appointment and hand you their dollars and tip you for what you're doing for their skin, they have something they probably had for a couple of decades, maybe 1 decade, that they're trying to solve. And to be very upfront with them, here's how we're going to do this. So a natural product, organic product, is obviously going to be typically more gentle. Of course, the vitamins, the nutrients, the antioxidants are going to nourish the skin, feed the skin, support that skin health. And of course, there's, like I've said before, that decreased potential for adverse reactions and long-term health issues. However, converse that with synthetic, and to deliver those initial results, probably going to have a longer shelf life. However, those repeated exposures to the phthalates, the parabens, the formaldehyde releasing preservatives can disrupt the endocrine system, can increase carcinogen exposure, can cause skin resistance and tolerance, so that you have to work even harder to go back in and make changes on the skin. And of course, can increase risk of contamination for byproducts, because a lot of the runoff companies that create synthetic products they're not heavily regulated. So those byproducts that come off, we don't know what else we're getting leaching into our skincare products. Environmental impact is obvious. Okay, so we don't use any pesticides, herbicides, fertilizers that will eventually affect the soil, the water, the wildlife from pollution and contamination. So we're talking about sustainability. This is where ilike really shines, because we do crop rotate. I mean, we have to literally go in, and they're using their hands for pretty much everything. Again, we're horse and buggying in like the Amish to plant. We're horse and buggying in like the Amish to harvest. Not taking tractors in or anything like that. It's pretty impressive. We prioritize that sustainability, and the synthetic inputs, I think you know what that's all about. I'm going to switch it off. And last, we're just going to talk, it's a little bit more about environmental impact. If you want to screenshot this, or you need me to screenshot it later, just remember which ones you want and I can send them that way. Last but not least, our most prestigious, the organic coverage, is our Cosmos. Cosmos is the hardest and most stringent coverage to get for any company. We have 3. We have Cosmos, we have Garancia, and we have BDIH. If we were to manipulate any part of our process, how we plant, how we harvest, how we take the plants to the production facility, the people that work in the production facility, and how the products are produced, if we do not follow those absolutely 100% stringent guidelines, we can't have this coverage. So absolutely no product that we put out there is going to have one little bit. So USDA organic, by law, 25% of whatever that product is in USDA organic doesn't have to be organic. They can call it still USDA organic. You know, grass-fed meat only has to be grass-fed at the last part of their life, that they can give them whatever they want prior. So that's how the US regulates it. When it comes to Europe, it's a completely different animal. Mm-hmm. One of the things that we use to do, we have what we call white sheets, and those are clinical studies that are approved by Cosmos that give you all of the very deep scientific and the studies that we've done on certain eco-science lines of our products, such as ecopeptide, retinol, grape stem, probiotics, those products. You have access to all of those white sheets. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go through a protocol. We're going to build out a protocol together that I would use at home for my skin, how to use it and why. Now, you all have access to all of our specific resources as far as the talking points that give you the base understanding of each of the products. I highly encourage you to print those out and commit them to memory, because those are going to give you your conversation pieces with your clients. The more you educate your clients, the more they will trust you, the more they will stay with you, the more they will buy. And when you educate the tar out of your people, then price point should never become an issue. Yes, are our products more expensive? Absolutely. Do you see where they come from? Do you understand why? I mean, we have to get them, customs and all that stuff and get them over to here in the United States, number one. Number two, we always have to make sure, I mean, if a batch comes in and it doesn't look right to us, we trash it. We're very, very careful with our products. Third, you don't need a lot because you don't need to overdo it. And that's talking about molecular size and how things spread.
Like, no joke, like a quarter of a dime size of
Well, I have a question. How long does one of those bottles then last? Like if
Well,
let's
it
and
depends
one
on
of
the
like yeah.
bottle. It depends on what you're talking about. So let's say
and the client.
What's that?
And the client.
And
like if they don't listen to you, because you literally
Right.
tell them like
Like a tiny bit.
Yeah, it's hugely important that when you are putting people in regular size bottles, because 80% of our bottles are all the same size, you're using it in back bar, they're using it at home, that you are physically showing them exactly how to do it. Because typically speaking, one full pump down of, let's say, an exfoliating wash is probably 8 or 9 applications. Serum is going to be about 8 or 9 applications for one full pump down. And people are not used to, one, how little product that you need. Everybody thinks more is better. More is not better. Better is better. And two, that when they're applying it or how the application is to go is different, typically speaking, for most of our products than the rest of the products out there. That's why I really wanted to do a hands-on kind of thing. For my skin, as far as if you were a cleansing milk user, today we're going to use Fresh and Clean Gel Cleanser. If I was a cleansing milk user, they're pretty much the same to a degree across the board. Cleansing milks are very mild. If you like cleansing milks, you're typically going to use about a half of a pump of cleansing milk. And with the Fresh and Clean Gel Cleanser, and we're just going to do, to start, we're going to do what I would do every day at home. So as if I'm the Estie and I'm teaching myself how to use my products at home. Bear in mind, I've gone through a facial and my esthetician, some people talk during services, some people don't. Let's just assume for all intents and purposes that for this training that you are talking during the service. So you've started your cleansing product and said, this is Fresh and Clean Gel Cleanser. I'm just using a little bit amount. It's got saponaria and yarrow in it. It gets in, it's full of antioxidants. It's going to calm your skin down. This is great even if you have lash extensions. You can soap it up all over the eyes and open the eyes and you'll be just fine. It won't burn. Make sure you do your neck because neck and hands show age quicker than anything else. And most people forget about that. So this is Fresh and Clean Gel Cleanser. This is a relatively new cleanser to ilike. And it is great for every skin type across the board. It's the only gel cleanser that we have, and it is the first part of a double cleanse. Who can tell me why it's important to double cleanse the skin?
Well, because the makeup and technically you're only just removing like impurities. You're not actually cleansing the skin with the first cleanse, correct?
Mm-hmm. And I encourage teaching in analogies because a lot of times if you can come up with a completely unrelated subject or maybe sort of related subject to explain your point, people go, like that common sense resonates. So for example, we need to double cleanse our hair. Now, we're not going to get into the hair conversation. I had to train myself not to wash my hair every day. But bottom line is, you're not going to get a really good cleanse on the scalp unless you double cleanse. Same thing with the skin, right? It's initial dirt and makeup. If that's all you're going after, you're still going to have that layer of lipids and all the other things on the skin that are just sitting there. products that you pay a lot for and put on expecting them to yield a result aren't going to be as efficient and work as well if you don't double cleanse. Prepping and finishing is just as important as your concentrated product. So think about when you're baking something, it's really important, or you're painting a room. It's very important. Your paint's going to look like crap if you don't prep. Prep takes more time than anything else, right? So yes, is the paint and the paint color important? It absolutely is. But how you prep for that paint is really going to show how well that room actually turns out. When I'm using my Fresh and Clean gel cleanser, so can I totally dip a towel in? Maybe I had it in my warmer and just wet the face? Absolutely I can. Can I, when I'm at home, splash water on my face? Absolutely I can. So either way works fine. Now, this is an already primed pump, and that's something else that you need to make sure that you're teaching your people when they're priming those pumps. You know, it takes a few times. Sometimes it takes more than a few times, but you'll hear a little bit of a or a whistle right before that product's getting ready to come out. And so that they don't waste product on that first go, make sure you're teaching them about how to prime the pumps. When I'm going to put product on my skin, and it's fine if the skin is really wet with Fresh and Clean gel cleanser, I've pumped it maybe a quarter of the way. Okay.
That's what I'm okay.
Yeah. And I have to get a little more water because I have a fan going in here for my hot flashes. So
A misting bottle works good too. That's what I do with my clients. The misting, the continual mister.
now I am a big use your fingertips person. We're going to put the Fresh and Clean on now. I'm not going to go over my eyes, but I totally do when I'm normally using it because I have eye makeup on and I don't want to deal with that right now. But could I all over the eyes? I absolutely could. I'm not going to do my neck either, just for intents and purposes. So notice how I'm not necessarily using my my pointer finger, because typically you're going to pull more on the skin with a pointer finger. I try to train to use your middle index finger and get all around. And if I had more water, this would soak up even more. So, but this is plenty for my neck. Literally, I could go down into my décolleté. I honestly, that quarter of a pump was too much product. Yeah. It's very mild in aroma, and I haven't met a person that doesn't like it. Very easy to use. So option, obviously, you're going to use this product just like you would pretty much any other cleanser. That being said, just a lesser amount. You always want to teach your clients to remove product moving up on the skin. So moving upward is important because you're defying gravity. Can they splash water on their face to get it off? They absolutely can. But if I get water on this MAC that's like brand new, I'm going to cry. So not going to do that. So I've done my first part of my double cleanse. First question, is it important to use exfoliating wash every day? Yes or no? It's just a yes or no question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it's exfoliating. So you
Correct.
need to get rid of the dead skin stuff.
This is
awesome.
one of the top questions I get. Oh, it's safe to use exfoliating wash every single day? Yes, it is. Twice a day.
Okay.
Why is it safe to use the exfoliating wash every day, twice a day?
And women are not used to our exfoliant because they're used to chemical, products that are scratching their face. They think that's
Like color
exfoliation.
stuff.
So it's hard to get them, not too hard after they use it, to train them that that's not what has to happen to exfoliate.
So the big thing that you need to remember is that an exfoliating wash is a deep cleanse. It's not an exfoliator. Okay, so that's the big difference. The pH of your skin is what?
5.5, 5.56.
4.5 to 5.5.
Oh, 5.5. Okay.
Yeah, 4.5 to 5.5 is the pH of the skin on your face.
Balanced. Yeah.
What is the pH of water?
7.
Or
7.
So if you have a product that's a low pH, 2 to 3, or a product that's a high pH, 9 to 10, and you dilute it with water, what is going to happen to that product?
It'll make it
Which
imbalanced.
up or down?
So will that product that's meant to be a 2 or meant to be a 10 work as well if you put a 7 in it?
Mm-mm.
No, scientifically, it won't work. When you hear about certain companies that you need to dilute before you apply, remember, we're talking about pH. And with a lot of products, either the pH is meant to be balanced or the pH is meant to lower to peel or to be higher to peel or a deeper effect. Exfoliating washes, remember, they're not exfoliators. They are a deep cleanse. Safe to use, and trust me when I tell you, even estheticians that have been with us for a while still have issues communicating that with their clients. We have several exfoliating washes, and I want to ask you that have kind of studied our products, and I'm 52 years old. I have years of sun damage, years and years and years of sun damage. I was a Gen X baby oil fry, grew up on the beach. So my whole body is covered with freckles. I am one big giant freckle. Before I started with ilike, I had all this sun damage, but my skin looked dull. It was extremely congested, extremely dehydrated. I have some befores and afters out there. Feel free to go take a look at them. Let's just say, for all intents and purposes, that my face is still that dehydrated, dull leather turtle, which it isn't now. I'm much more hydrated. But what exfoliating wash out of our exfoliating washes would you first recommend for me to use?
Nettle exfoliating.
Nettle.
My favorite.
Nettle. So Nettle exfoliating wash is for your dehydrated leather turtles. Most of the people that come to you, especially people that are in their late 30s and up, that are dry, dehydrated, all of that are going to need Nettle exfoliation. Okay, it's got bioflavonoids in it, and it gets in and it deeply hydrates. I don't have Nettle in my office right now, but I have Refreshing Mint. Refreshing Mint is very minty smelling if you haven't smelled Refreshing Mint yet. And this is pretty much a good one for across the board. If you're not quite sure, it's fine for your sensitive people, people that are just normal skin. You're not trying to go after congestion or more of an oily combo T-zone. That's going to be your mineral exfoliating wash. Key ingredient in mineral exfoliating wash. And again, we're not going, I want you to write this stuff down because you're not going to know, is ichthymol. Ichthymol we'll talk about later, put a pin in that, but it's very, think of drawing toxins out of the skin. So your people that are going to be your combo more to the oily aspect, congested, is going to be your mineral exfoliating wash. Your Refreshing Mint is kind of great across the board. This can also be used for waxing and vajacials. We are going to do a full segment on that today because we have a lot of people. I've never done a full training on waxing before, after all of that. Super happy to say that I don't have any issues with that anymore, but that was a chronic problem for me. So I've done first part of the double cleanse. Second part of my double cleanse, I'm going to use Refreshing Mint because this is what I have in my office. What should be the condition of my skin prior? What should my skin be like prior to me putting on this Refreshing Mint?
Like barely damp.
Barely damp. Why? Remember what we
Because of
talked
the pH.
Because of the pH. Because if I soak it, I'm already messing with the pH, right? pH of this is about a 9.5. Okay.
So you mean by barely damp, like, just question, would you put like a tissue like to dry out a little bit, or you just leave it after you
So
after you use a warm towel?
to be fair, I mean, it really depends. So if you're typically, how are you typically removing your first part of your cleanse? So your fresh and clean or your milk?
The sponge, like usually the soft sponge and
That's gonna be enough. So
okay.
that's gonna be just damp enough that you're good to go.
We
So
just
my
missed.
skin is dried at this point. So I'm just gonna take water on my hands. And that's it. When you are applying the exfoliating wash, this is about a quarter of a pump. Yeah. Dropping. And again, I'm using fingertips. I'm not rubbing it into my hands. You may or may not wear gloves. If you don't, you know, you have to think about, you have pores in your hands. I'm going to apply it until it becomes, you'll get kind of a white, sticky, tacky taste to it. I actually dropped half of it in my lap, so I need to get some more. Do we want to avoid the eye area?
Yes.
Yes. I want you to be confident in your answers, even if they're wrong.
Okay.
So we want to avoid the eye area because if you get it in your eyes, it's going to sting.
It happened to me in the shower.
I got the calendula.
Actually, I shouldn't have used it in the shower now that I think about it.
I got the calendula and orange exfoliating wash in my mouth in the shower. In my mouth. I'd never gotten an exfoliating wash in my mouth before. Oh my gosh, it was not good. I mean, I didn't die or anything, but don't forget around the lip, nose, nostril areas, all that good stuff. So you can't really see too close if it's creating a paste. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And now I'm going to go in for a lot of water. Now, best to go and just dip your hands in the water, or you could dip a brush or whatever. But while you're training, your clients are probably gonna have to go in a few times. So now I'm putting lots of water on my face and it changes consistency. I'm going in for more. It changes consistency 180 degrees. So now it is super slick. So you can see it starting to soap up, need more water because I'm starting to bring the pH down. So I'm going back to normal. And this, for those of you who always get on me about there's not an opportunity to massage, this is a great opportunity to massage. The Fresh and Clean Gel Cleanser, the cleansing milk, great opportunity to massage. Get in there, get their pressure points. If you don't know anything about pressure points, read up on it. There's a lot of great ones that can help relieve sinuses, stress, a little bit of lymph, and I'm going in for more water. So you notice that if it still feels a little tacky at all, you need more water. So have water available to you. Keep adding water.
I have a question. So some girls here, I asked them, some clients, it gets super soapy, and some of them, it doesn't get that soapy. And they said that that's normal and that it just depends on the person. Why would that be?
So it depends on the condition of the skin. So my skin is super hydrated, not congested at all. My skin pulls in product better than somebody that's congested. The more soapy it is on the outside, the more congested that client probably is.
Okay, that's cool.
And doesn't it have to do with like when you do they do your hair and a bunch of gunk comes off? It's like also the toxins or the environmental stuff, Amy, that's on their face too. I mean, like when you're getting all of that stuff and it's doing that and the face is congested, it's all of the environmental, just like all the junk and dirt and crap in your hair when you do a deep cleanse, you know?
Yes,
That's what I'm asking. Usually the people who are worse, we're seeing it come do what she's talking about.
yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
I was going to ask you that too, because it is different with some people.
I have then taken a towel, so I've done all the water, and that started that process of pulling my pH back down. Then I've taken, you know, a towel and removed the rest. And so now I'm gonna pat dry. And I'm always gentle. And you'll notice, since my skin is not congested, that I'm pink now. My skin's like, woohoo, yeah, let's go. I have actually done some pretty heavy treatments on estheticians. Their skin is so congested, like you see nada. If you're not seeing within like that second step some type of blood flow in the skin, that's your first signal that that skin is congested. Remember, we talked about things are a process in order to make long-term changes to the skin. Number one thing that you want to address with anybody that walks in your door is inflammation. If your client has inflammation anywhere, that's your first thing that you need to go after. Let's keep in mind that most people's faces are not the same all over. So targeting your treatments are very important. I call it target mapping. Let's say that their T-zone, let's say they have cheek rosacea, blackheads on their nose, maybe some whiteheads or some very difficult, hard hormonal breakouts along the chin, which is that testosterone issue. You may need to go after their skincare with MAPs. Because what I'm going to put on a cheek rosacea is not going to be the same that I'm going to put on a hormonal chin, nose, and forehead. We've double cleansed. We've used Fresh and Clean Gel Cleanser with Saponaria and Yarrow. It's great for whose skin?
Everybody.
Everybody. Everybody can use it. We've used the Refreshing Mint Exfoliating Wash, which is good for whose skin?
Everybody.
Everybody. Which exfoliating wash is good for your dehydrated dry leather turtles?
Nettle.
Nettle.
Metal. Which one is good for your combination to oily congested?
Mineral.
Mineral. Calendula and orange. You wouldn't use that on somebody who's uber sensitive. Great for your manis and really good for sloughing off. What's my next step?
Tone.
Toner.
When I have a bottle of toner, how am I going to use this bottle?
On your hands. Spray it.
On my hands.
Or a cotton pad.
Or
Cotton pad, yeah. Do you spray it like just
Mist.
spray or
if I
mist it?
spray it, am I going to press it down all the way?
Spray it. Come on, Amy.
Am I going to do this?
Missed it. Like I missed.
I'm going to barely press it and I'm going to go like this.
Yeah.
That's
That's
it.
what I do.
teeny sprays? Okay.
Then once I do that, I'm going to do this. Tap, 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 tap,
Oh.
tap, tap, tap.
Did it right.
Yeah.
That's what I did at home, 'cause
I'll
nobody
usually
told
put
me
it on my
to.
hands and then I
Okay.
tap it.
To do that, you can spray it on your hands, put it on. I have a travel size pump at home, which these are our travel size pumps. They're refillable, by the way. You just press it down. So it's not a spray, it's a pump. And I put the Hydrotone Rose Toner in this, just pump it in my hands. You can absolutely do that, or you can put it on a round, or if you barely press. And why am I tapping it into the skin?
To help it absorb.
Help it absorb.
It has to do with the pH.
It balances.
Actually doesn't have to do with the pH, but we're going to talk about that real quick. So I'm glad you brought that up. The reason I'm tapping it into the skin is because where there is blood flow, there is cell turnover and there is healing. It feels nice and it also helps to start the blood flowing. Is it absolutely 100% necessary that you tap it in? No, just a trick of the trade. This is a specific step of product that is given up by a lot of not only estheticians, but people at home. I want to hear from you why toner is important.
We learned that it balances out the pH after what
Yeah.
you just did to your face before.
Restores the pH.
Correct. It does restore the pH. What is the importance of restoring the pH?
So that the product can properly be effective.
Yes. Go Sephora. You get a Reese cup. Okay. It's important to talk about why toner is important because a lot of people skip that part. We discussed how your skin is a 4.5 to a 5.5 and the water is 7. A pH balanced skin allows products to absorb and work effectively. Let's say you've just used that exfoliating wash, which is approximately what pH?
9.5.
Correct, approximately 9.5 to 10 or
9.5?
so. And now you've used that, and yeah, you've rinsed it off, but it's possible that you have some residue on there, or maybe that it just didn't come down all the way from adding water. It really doesn't matter. Point being is toner is going to bring that pH back down. And I want to talk specifically about the difference between a toner that's astringent, which is 99.9% of the toners that are out there, and a
Yeah.
fatty alcohol based toner. If you look on the left side, we have our astringent based toners, and astringent based toners are made of denatured alcohol or SD alcohols, but think about alcohol, okay, not fatty alcohol. It's a totally different thing. A denatured alcohol is dehydrating to the skin. It is going to ultimately damage the skin surface. It makes the skin addicted. It makes the skin want more and more and more. Why? Because eventually it's damaging the skin surface. And however, it feels great going on, just like junk food feels great going in, eventually there are chemicals in there that are going to develop your skin in your body to have an addiction. It's a desiccant, which is the opposite of a humectant. A desiccant pulls water away. A humectant pulls water in. It attracts water. And it will strip the natural oil. So it brings an imbalance in the natural sebum production. We all need a certain amount of oils in our skin. I was one as a teenager, didn't know anything about skin, and I would strip my face, and then it would become much more oily, and I had an extreme imbalance in the sebum production. So use your toners depending on the focus of the toner, and they are different. The one I typically use at home is I use our new Hydrotone Rose Toner. Even though my skin is not inflamed or sensitive, I just happen to love that one. When you're talking about a fatty alcohol, you can get alcohols that are fatty out of plants, avocado, lots of plants that you can get fatty alcohols out of. And that's where we pull ours from, of course, out of plants. They are, instead of dehydrating, they're hydrating. They work to help protect the surface of the skin, soothe the skin. They're a humectant, which does what?
Pulls water in.
Not only does it hold water, what else does it do?
Pulls water in.
Draws,
Hydrates.
Yeah.
pulls in more water. It attracts water.
Pulls.
And then it will help to lock in that moisture. Big difference between your fatty alcohol and your SD alcohols. The way that we have to list our ingredients according to the FDA is we're not allowed to put fatty alcohols. We're not allowed to put juice as an extract. We're not allowed to put pulp on there. We have to put extract. We have to put alcohol. So when you get those ingredient gurus that are reading the labels, you have to teach them about that as well, because we are not allowed by law to label those as specifically what they are. You say, well, it doesn't have any alcohols in it, doesn't have any extracts, but it says it right here on the label. Physical extract is way different than a chemical extract. A chemical extract uses chemicals to extract something like a fragrance. A physical extract is a product of fermentation pulping. If you've ever pulped anything or fermented anything, you get juice. That's the extract. That's the concentrated, and it creates that enzymatic response, which is why the products are so concentrated and effective, because we pulp and we ferment. Same thing with the alcohols. Alcohols are naturally derived from plants that are just a product of it, rather than adding an SD alcohol. Yes.
Physical extract is chemical and the other is what?
A physical extract.
I understand. What did you just say? Physical extract is chemical?
No, I said a physical extract is different than a chemical extract.
Than a chemical. Okay, so when you're talking the chemical, the pulping, the fermenting, that one has to do with the physical.
Correct. And
Okay.
all of our extracts, all of them, 100% of our extracts are physical.
Okay. making sure I'm following.
For example, when you look at something and it says, well, it has lavender extract in it, do you know that they haven't extracted any of the medicinal properties of lavender? They've given you the aroma.
Which is the chemical.
That's all you're getting. It doesn't, that's what extracts are when you're talking about a chemical extract. 3 ways to apply toner.
Spraying it and then tapping it on. Using cotton,
That was 3.
like pumping.
Oh, no, it wasn't.
Was that 3? Pumping it and then tapping it on, I guess.
Yeah. Why are we not just pressing it all the way down like that?
Too much.
You're wasting product.
Wasting product. It's literally, I can't spray my screen, but don't mind me. You know me. It's literally, I don't know if you can see my finger, but I'm like, oh, jeez. Can you? I mean, it's just a little tiny spritz. What's step number 4 for my home care?
Booster.
Booster. Okay, let's talk about boosters. We love boosters. Most people are not educated about a booster. They don't know the name booster. They don't know why they need a booster. What the heck is a booster? Why do I need it? Why is it so important? Well, you should be using it during your services and explaining it. We have 4 different boosters. We have hyaluronic elixir. We have rejuvenation booster. We have hydrotone rose booster, and we have Vita C booster. What do all 4 of these boosters have in common?
They all have hyaluronic acid, or
They all have hyaluronic acid. We're not going to get too deep into the science of hyaluronic acid. Just suffice it to say that not all hyaluronic acid is created the same. So when you walk into a Walgreens and you see a lip gloss that has hyaluronic acid in it, it is not necessarily going to be derived the same way or have the same effect as a different type of molecular structure as something that is very high grade. Our hyaluronic acid that we use, actual atomic weight of it is proprietary. However, I can tell you that it's 2 different chains. So the molecules are short chain and medium chain. Some people call them short and long. Sometimes in my presentations, I use short and long just to show the difference. Our hyaluronic acid, especially the short chain aspect, because of its molecular size, can travel deeply beneath the skin surface. So that's the short. The medium or long will stay on the surface of the skin. We produce naturally hyaluronic acid in our bodies, but by the time we hit our 20s, depending on our lifestyle, stress levels, our environment, how we're taking care of our skin, just like collagen, we decrease in the amount of hyaluronic acid that we're producing internally, which is why our skin loses its plumpness, which is why we begin to, with the collagen as well, but why we begin to droop, why gravity takes over, why when we pull on the skin, it stays there, it's called turgor, rather than bouncing back. It's because our hyaluronic acid and our collagen is decreasing. And again, a lot of this depends on lifestyle. In our world, we can't get away from a lot of it. So we have to, just like we have to supplement our food, we have to supplement in our skin care in order to achieve and maintain, prevent, fix all of those things. The boosters in and of themselves, dual weighted hyaluronic acid, and the short strand, and I have long strand on here, travels beneath the skin barrier to go in and give that skin that drink of water that it needs. So when you have a dry sponge, and imagine that you take that sponge and you run it under water and you fill it up, does the sponge become plumper and bigger? Yes. It's the same principle with skin. Reason that we have the fine lines, if I was to plump those up with water and then collagen, those fine lines are going to become less. Very important to have hyaluronic acid. When do we use a booster? Here's a little trick for you to remember. You want to use a booster and home before a serum. So BS before serum, and you want to use a booster in service before a mask. BS and BM. You can come up with any nicknames you want with that. I'm not going there. And the reason that it's important to use it before the serum is going to be your most concentrated, targeted product to make the changes in the skin. Again, is prep important? Yes. Remember painting a wall, because it translates beneath that skin barrier very deeply. It's going to thus pull that serum that you're putting on top of it beneath the skin barrier as well. Same thing when you're using it in service. You use it before a mask because you want that mask to be very effective. Let's pull it beneath the skin barrier rather than just having it molecularly sit on top of the skin. Not everything is the same molecular size, and not everything can translate so deeply beneath the skin barrier. We have approximately 5 or 6 of our products that absolutely travel deeply beneath the skin barrier, and our boosters are one of them.
Including the rejuvenation booster?
Yeah, we're going to talk about each one of those, okay?
Oh, okay. So if a client comes in and says, like, I don't need the booster, can I just get the serum?
Yeah, they can.
But you can just say that the booster actually helps the serum be more effective, because that's like.
Yeah, I mean, it's the drink of water for the skin. You are using it in service. Definitely something maybe they roll into later on. Ultimately, when clients come in, you want to make sure that you are asking them open-ended questions about their treatment, not yes or no. So closed-ended questions are specific questions. Do you want a recommendation? Yes, no. What do you think about a protocol to use at home? That forces them to give you an open-ended, to think about the answer to the question. And a big mistake that we make in talking to people is we'll ask them a question, but then we don't stop talking, and we don't like awkward silences. So we don't wait for them to actually answer. If you've gotten your client to a point that they're open and willing to purchase some product from you to use at home, your next question is going to be, how many steps are you willing to do? That is going to give you an idea if they're a minimalist, people that just quick, in and out. And a lot of times I will show clients how to do these 7 steps that we're doing during this training in about 1.5 minutes. So it does not have to be a long and drawn out, and it's one of those things that they get used to. So if the client says, I'm only willing to do 3 steps at home, what do you think? And then there are different answers to this question as far as the middle step, but what would be the top 3 things that you would give a client to use at home?
Exfoliating wash, and we usually do the hyaluronic elixir and then a moisturizer.
That's a great option. Exfoliating wash, a booster, and a moisturizer. What are some other options? So the first 2 are going to stand. Exfoliating wash, moisturizer are going to be absolutely part of those top 3. What are other products?
I do exfoliate, tone, and moisture.
You could do a toner.
I mean, isn't toner essential?
It really is.
I mean, I always push toner even with other product lines, because that's what's restoring the pH balance so that the products can work. Without the toner, then.
You're right, but there are a lot of clients that still don't understand the importance of having a toner, so they refuse. No, I want the booster. Eventually, you're educating them enough.
I force my clients.
You are very pushy. Yes, no, I'm teasing.
I'm like, this is what you're gonna do. Okay.
Okay. Well, and but that speaks to you, Sephra, because they trust you. You've developed that relationship. That is the key.
Yeah.
You're the professional. To be fair, if I'm going in and I'm in an arena that I don't have any really expert background in at all, I have to trust that person that I'm in the room with. They're coming to you. That's an opportunity to build trust, and that's the most important thing.
The biggest thing, like for me, I'm sure like with you, Amy, even in your trainings, right, is you're advising us and you come across as like knowing what you're talking about. So when the client comes in and we follow all of the steps that you have in place with the intake, we immediately establish ourselves as an advisor, and they're desperate for input and they're already overwhelmed from the 3,000 products at Ulta that they're using that they don't know what the heck is happening.
100%.
Yeah, I use the toner to lock in like the whole thing. For me, that works. I mean, we all have something, but I mean, it works because it's true.
Yes. Yes, it absolutely does. And you're right. And but you know, you do have those ingredient guru clients that come in and they think they know everything. I deal with that in my kinesiology practice. I have to really break it down and go back to the basics because people are all over the place with their skincare and their internal bodies. So yes. All
Well,
right.
I see a lot of, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I see a lot of clients that like to use CeraVe and how cheap it is. And that's also another thing that I have to kind of let them know that that's not doing anything for them. So, you know, the price point also, you know, that's something I got to figure that out with
Well,
some of my clients.
and again, the price point is since you are transitioning and you have a unique opportunity since you are transitioning out of certain products into ilike, is you can lead with the bad news. Lead with the bad news. This is way high end. It is way more expensive, but here's why I'm using it. Your testimony, Alex, alone, when I just gave you 5 days of samples,
Oh yeah, that was amazing.
done. You know, done.
Yeah.
So lead with the bad news because it can only get better from there. Right? Super high end, way different, way expensive. Here's why.
And we also tell our clients that if they use the right amount, it'll last them like 10 times longer than, you know. So usually that's what makes them like, oh, okay.
Keep in mind, especially with boosters and serums, that when you are actively calming inflammation, rehydrating, decongesting, we're addressing inflammation. Second thing we're addressing is congestion. Can't make changes with inflamed, congested skin. Third, we're getting in and we are rehydrating the skin. I mean, we're doing this all at one time, but those are your goals. When you're using a booster and a serum, in the beginning with somebody that has all of these issues, they are going to soak up product like a person dry in the desert for 10 days. Making sure that when you are applying product, and we will go through this together, but when you are putting on those boosters and the serums, that you're doing it in sections, one at a time, because they're probably going to soak it up really quickly, that you are not rubbing them in, that you are moving them around the skin and allowing the skin to absorb, especially if you're not wearing gloves. You're teaching clients to use fingertips only. Boosters are going to obviously enhance that functional skin activity. We use them before what?
For serum.
And?
Mask.
I have Vita C booster here. Now, this isn't typically the booster that I use. Vita C booster is going to be for either target treating hyperpigmentation or your people that are more on the oily side of. You can use hyaluronic elixir across the board for all skin. Vita C booster is the one you really need to be mindful of. That if somebody's got open spots on their face, you're not using it. If they have been picking at their skin or anything like that, Vita C is not where you're going. Notice how dark this Vita C booster is. Some of them are the palest and palest of yellow. And this is what I'm talking about when you get different bottles that they may not look the same. And your clients may notice that. So if this is the second time that they're buying a booster and it might, well, why is it this color? Explaining about the organic nature, the different harvests. If the client is using it at home, if they're on the table, you're going to put about here. If they're doing it for themselves, you're going to do a drop. Ooh, I missed because I'm not in the mirror. I meant to do it at the top of my forehead and I dropped some, of course. So I'm gonna stop there. I'm not gonna put any more product on my face, but notice how I'm not doing this. Okay, I dropped it, so I need to get a little bit more. I have my fingertips and I'm just moving it around. That's all I'm doing. Move it around. So usually for me, with 3 drops of product, I can get, so I do 1 here and I move it all around. It gets down here. And if it's not Vita C, I'm also putting it below and above. Okay. So with all the others, you can do that. I usually get about this much of my skin done with 1 drop. So all of this and up. Then my second drop, if I'm doing it at home, you can do this the same thing in service. I'm going to drop it just below about on the orbital bone. And again, you see how light I'm touching it. And that's how I'm moving it around. All in the lips. I even put it on my ears. I'm going to take a 3rd drop and put it here. And I move it around, light, 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 light touch. I am not pressing at all. And then you might need a 4th to go down into the neck area. Really important to teach the clients. I mean, even if you just show them on their hand, not this, move it around. Okay, because the skin knows what to do with it and it's going to absorb it. I'm not going to read through all of these. You do have all of these on your private video links, so you have access to see these. So we're talking about active ingredients here, and I'm going to switch to the next screen. These are also active ingredients. Our hyaluronic acid in particular is derived from terra tree seeds, marine seaweed, biofermentation of raw plant ingredients. When we get to the hyaluronic acid, you'll get a little bit more. You've got your linoleic acid, your alpha linoleic. This kind of stuff is good for you to know, but will go right over your client's head. This one's going to brighten. So this is good for your hyperpigmentation people. Again, you can use hyaluronic elixir and then spot treat with this. Now you see how light the product is in that picture. Different batch. Who is Vita C Booster for? Your normal to oily skin, your non-inflamed acneic client, hyperpigmentation. Do not use this on inflamed skin. In the hyaluronic elixir, your active ingredients in here, and this is also going to be in your other boosters as well, but I broke it down a little bit more here because the hyaluronic elixir bottles are smaller than the other booster bottles because it is straight dual weighted hyaluronic elixir with a little bit of vitamin C as a preservative. This is what we add or make our hyaluronic elixir out of. Not going to read through all of those ingredients. You're always welcome to take pictures and screenshot as well, but just remember you have links to these trainings, these exact same slides. Who is hyaluronic elixir for? It is for all people and all skin conditions. Can you put hyaluronic elixir above and below the eyes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Can you put Vita C booster above and below the eyes?
No.
No. Here is our rejuvenation booster. So what you need to remember about the rejuvenation booster is it does help to boost cell turnover a little bit more than the other boosters, that it has keratin and copper in it. And copper in particular does help to strengthen actual skin tissues. So people that have very weak and porous skin, and I'm not talking about decongested, I'm talking about you touch it and it breaks or bleeds very easily, that copper is going to get in there and increase that strength of the skin tissues together. So it also helps to get in and remove damaged collagen and elastin. So that copper is a highly effective enzyme. If you're talking about people that, again, have that weak skin or people that are in aging and they're not doing a high dose vitamin C, So here's the thing. Can you use something that has a little bit of vitamin C on the skin in conjunction with rejuvenation booster? Yes. But if your treatment regimen for them is high dose vitamin C, like a lot of the products are a vitamin C focus, that copper and that vitamin C are going to come in and count each other out. They are contraindicating, not in a negative way, just in a way that they won't be as effective. If you want to take a look at these, again, if you start going into natrium, PCA, glycoproteins, all of these with your clients, they're going to look at you like you have your head turned on backwards. So do you need to get into the science a little bit? Yes, you do. You need to understand what copper does with the skin. You need to understand what carotene does with the skin. It's very high in antioxidants. Most people know what carrots and all of that good vitamin A does for, the body. But what does it do for the skin? For, again, your people that are super weak in their skin tissues, people that are highly medicated, often you will see that on their skin. Post-cancer treatments, it's a great opportunity. And combining rejuvenation booster with your grape stem is a great combination. In ilike, with our line, so our ecopeptide, our grape stem, our hydrotone rose, whatever it is, we never tell you to use all one line on one client. Just like your body needs a multitude of nutrients to make the body balanced, your skin needs a multitude of nutrients to make the skin balanced. So all one line is not indicated. You want to get to know the products enough that you pick and grab the recipe that works best for your client's skin. What's the number one thing that we need to address when a client walks in our door?
Inflammation.
Very good. What's the second thing that we need to address?
Congestion.
Congestion. Yep, perfect. All right, let's quick talk about Hydrotone Rose Booster. This has quickly become my favorite booster. I love the way it smells. I love the way it goes on. I love the spreadability of it. Later on, we can talk about microderm and nano infusion, needling. This one is a great one to use for that. It's Quad Defense Essence is also a good one, which is a cross between a booster and a serum. Hyaluronic elixir is a good one with needling, infusion, and all of that. And ecopeptide serum is also a great one. We do have public videos out there on YouTube specifically for micro needling, and I think it's nano infusion that I did. Hydrotone Rose Booster and the whole Hydrotone Rose line is formerly known as our Rose Petal line. And that was out for years and years and years. And we now upped it into our EcoScience umbrella. Now it has the white sheets on it, the Cosmos white sheets. We've done the studies. Now it's one of our more high performing lines. So we have lines that are gentle and aromatic, very healthy, and yes, they're effective on the skin. And then you go across the spectrum to our EcoScience lines that are obviously, number one, going to be more expensive, but number two, going to be more effective. Here are the active ingredients in our Hydrotone Rose Booster. We're going to regulate the sebum production, improve scarring, extremely aromatic. What does it do? It's going to increase your skin's collagen and elastin, going to help redevelop a broken down skin barrier, help to repair a compromised skin barrier, improve skin roughness, absolutely does all of this stuff. Even the mask, I've been really playing with the mask lately. Remind me to talk to you about that when we do hit masks, because we're not going to talk about every mask. Reducing wrinkles, according to the white sheets, improves the length, the number, and the depth of the lines on the skin, obviously tightens the skin because of the hyaluronic acid, and leaves a silky appearance. And who is it for? Everybody, especially your combo dry, sensitive people.
Can you use more than one?
You can. Do I recommend it? It depends on why you would want to use more than one. So give me an example.
Well, I don't really know, but I just know that you were talking about at the beginning, like if you were mapping the skin, like they had lots of different things going on. Like, would that be a scenario that you would recommend more than one of the boosters?
So what I would do is if we're mapping, I would rather layer serums or map with serums. The only caveat to that would be using the Vita C booster. So I have some spots on my face. I don't know. Oh, see. So yeah, that one's a big one. So you can see right there, that hyperpigmentation. Doop. Some over here. Yeah, now you can see right here. Those are hyperpigmented spots from my years of sun damage. I would, because I don't need Vita C all over and I don't have oily skin, so I don't want to mess with that. But I would pop my Hydrotone Rose Booster, my Elixir Rejuvenation, whatever I'm using, and then probably wouldn't use Rejuvenation if I'm targeting with Vita C because of the heavy vitamin C content. And then dot.
This is good for hyperpigmentation, like spot treatment.
100%. That
Okay.
and your brightening moisturizer, if I don't get to that. So brightening moisturizer is also a great one to use for mapping and to address specific hyperpigmented spots. If you do a brightening moisturizer, put it in the cabinet because it breaks down with the light. So make sure that if you do use brightening, that it's not just out there like in the window. kind of thing.
My client like is dry skin and sensitive, but she really has a lot of hyperpigmentation. So you just say like just spot treat with this, because that's really one of the biggest concern with most of my clients is
So what I would do
hyperpigmentation.
if she's dry and sensitive, for sure, make sure she's super hydrated. Spot test her. Where does is her sensitivity like everywhere?
No, yeah, it's mostly everywhere. I think it's not like rosacea or like redness, but she's sensitive. And then
Spot test her
she
here.
has yeah, okay.
Spot test her here, see how she responds to it. And if she can't handle it, use the brightening.
Okay.
And you can also mask her. So using the vitalizing powder, which is the powder that you can add to the gel masks, which is that vitamin C boost, just be mindful. So watch her, because let's say you use a Hydrotone Rose gel mask, right? Great for your sensitive people, great for your dry people. That's an excellent mask to use. And you added some vitalizing powder to that. That's going to hit that hyperpigmentation, but it also brings up the intensity. But I don't think you're going to have too much of a problem if you're using something like a Hydrotone Rose gel mask or a cucumber parsley gel mask, because those are very calming and hydrating.
But let's say like the rejuvenation booster, doesn't that kind of affect also pigmentation? Can't that help? Like
It's not really targeted for that.
not targeted. Okay.
More cell turnover, more strength.
Okay.
Yeah, I've applied Vita C booster to my skin. And again, I don't normally use Vita C booster all over my skin because I am more on the drier, dehydrated side, if you would. But for today, we're totally fine. So what's going to be my next step for my skin if I'm doing home care? So I've double cleansed, I've toned, I've boosted. Now what?
Moisture.
Serum.
Oh,
The
serum.
Serum. So serum is our most targeted, most concentrated. If you have not read the white sheets on ecopeptide, grape stem, retinol, probiotic, those are the top 4 that you need to learn. And then Hydrotone Rose would be next. Make sure that you have those printed out, you read through them, you mark them up, watch the training, because I deep dive into what exactly they do. I'm going to give you sort of layman's terms, sort of professional, quick blurbs on each after we go through, and I put this serum on right now. So for today, what I have in my office, and I do use this because every once in a while I will get a hormonal something. So I'll use the probiotic serum. Probiotic serum in particular, along with all of our probiotic products, are excellent for eczema, rosacea, hormonal breakouts, bacterial breakouts, for people that have microbiome imbalance, because you've got to get the inflammation. You've got to get the congestion. The third step is if there is a need to balance the biome, that's the next step. If the inflammation is present, if the congestion is present, you can't balance the biome. Okay, same thing with the gut. If the gut needs to be rebalanced, the first thing you have to do is get rid of the inflammatory state. The second thing that you need to do is get the gut actually moving and functioning like it's supposed to, so decongesting it. Okay, then we go in and we balance. When I'm applying serum, it's going to be, in essence, the same way that I'm applying a booster. Now, again, I'm not going to waste this and press it down all the way. But if I did press this bottle down all the way, again, that would be approximately 8 servings, if you will. I'm also going to apply serum in sections because sometimes that serum can be absorbed quickly as well. So I'm going to start with, I can pop it right on my face if I want to, but usually I don't. I put it on my fingertip. So you can see I've got the bottle right in the camera, and you can see, hopefully. So I barely pressed. And the same application process, fingertips. I'm not rubbing it into the palm of my hand. I'm literally moving gently, very light touch. And that one drop is going to give me enough for this whole area. That was one drop. I barely pressed the bottle. Ooh, that smells so good. Holy cow, that smells. And then I'm going to do, boop, barely pressed, another drop. And I'm going to, so it doesn't soak into my pores, I want to be kind of quick with it. And going to get it all over. Boop, boop. There it goes. Another drop, light touch. I've already done above and below my eyes. I've already done the other side of my nose here. So that gives me plenty for my neck. So that was 3 baby drops. 3. And I actually have enough to move around onto my ears. Forget about your ears. They have skin on them too. Probiotic in particular spreads really well. Pretty much all of the serums. The only serum that doesn't spread so well is your mattifying serum. And mattifying serum, what I do want to talk about it just a minute, is a hidden gem that estheticians don't take advantage of enough. What's next for home care?
Well, moisturizing.
Moisturizing and or eye cream. So when you apply moisturizer, and some moisturizers, of course, your whipped moisturizers, comparatively speaking, with another moisturizer, the non-whipped moisturizer is going to require a little more spreading than a whipped, because whipped is whipped and it absorbs a little bit more quickly. I'm using Stonecrop. I don't typically use Stonecrop, but that's what I have in my office here. Applying moisturizers, fingertips. We're not putting it in the palm of the hand and rubbing it around, because we want to get the moisturizer on the face. So let's not let it absorb into the palm of the pores of our skin. Your clients are not going to use gloves. So fingertips, I still use only ring finger, middle finger. There are lots of different ways to do it. The point is, how are you actually moving the moisturizer around? And 2, how much are you using? So for me, I'll just put like maybe a quarter of a pump. I might need more, I don't know. And what I do, there's no right or wrong here. How we're moving it is a right or wrong. Is I will dot the moisturizer on my skin, and then it's like a little tap rub. So I'm tapping it and I'm moving it around very gently. Oh, wow, it's really spreading a lot. I don't need a lot. just tapping it around. So I almost got my whole face with that less than a quarter of a pump of moisturizer. We are not, again, doing this. Okay, we are especially making sure that, and it's something I still have to remember to do. So when I put moisture on, my tendency, because of just your neural pathways are strong here, is you tend to do this, right? So we're pulling down the skin when we do that, rather than working up. Think about working up, 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 up. So maybe even training, maybe I could train myself to do this, to start at the neck and work my way up. All of the moisturizers, let me just think so I don't misspeak. All of the moisturizers are going to be safe around the eyes.
I don't want to use like an eye, like an extra eye thing.
Yeah, so we have an eye cream that some people will use eye cream, some people won't. This bottle of eye cream will last a year.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you are doing a 16th of a pump, maybe. So if you look here,
Like barely even pressing. Okay.
I mean, like, that's enough for both my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So again, fingertips.
And then just tapping.
Right?
So some of my clients got these white fatty
Milia.
milia from their eye creams.
Right. So fix
So
the
do you know?
milia. I'll teach you how to fix the milia. Most of the time, it's actually not the eye cream that is creating the milia issue.
The
Most of the
cholesterol
time, it's
or-
bacteria.
Oh, interesting.
What they need to do, because this happened to me not too long ago. I'm talking 3 months ago. So I typically don't get, I mean, I have in the past gotten milia, you know, especially like in my eyebrow area or like right on my lid.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to develop that. Like I had like 4 good sized ones, like, and I'm going,
Yeah.
what is this? I talked to Linda about it and she goes, okay, first things first, in order to get rid of the milia, it's to break down the bacteria that's on the skin. You have to be very careful, especially if you have it in other places, but like on the eyes. Now I know I say don't put exfoliating washes near the eyes. If you use refreshing mint, have one of these electric or plugs in with a USB, and it's a silicone brush that will like little silicone things sticking up. You know what I'm talking about? With a tiny, especially if you're going above the eye, just be super, super mindful. And they really kind of need to do it on the daily. And they could probably use just Linda's looking for ours, just a regular little silicone thing that has little spiky things, but it's not hard.
Okay.
Silicone. And with the exfoliating wash, you go over the skin with that.
The exfoliating, not the refreshing mint. Okay. So yeah, this is one of my clients, and she went to the dermatologist. They couldn't take it out. They would refuse to do the lancet and stuff, and then
it'll go away. So the second thing is they
Yeah.
either have to replace or wash all of their brushes. So if they're adding on concealer or makeup or powder or whatever they're using for their makeup application, they need to either replace it or they need to wash it. Yes.
I have a couple of, that's one version.
Okay.
You don't want them using, yeah.
That's
And my
fun.
code, if they go to Zach,
Is
is
what?
Linda 40.
Linda 40?
Yep.
Because that's how old you are.
Thank you, yes.
Here
Sorry.
is one version of I don't have this exact one. It's got some like finer ones here, and then it has the little thicker ones here. For the eyes, I would definitely use the finer ones. And then this has this is from Zach, ZAQ. He is where we have a personal relationship with this company. And if you use the code, and I'm not selling anything, so we don't get anything out of it, Linda 40, Any of their
Under
stuff,
40.
best top-notch brushes and everything, you can get these from there. So if you're using this, you go and then if they wherever they have the milia,
And then would you follow up with a cream?
put a light moisturizer on. But I would do the same, booster, the same stuff. And that's what I did.
Amy, why would you stay away from the eye cream?
Because it might just be a little emollient. So we're trying to pull out of the pore that
Okay.
It only took me honestly, because I checked, because anytime I'm trying to fix something on my own face, I know I'm going to teach about it later. 3 weeks, they were gone.
Okay.
Key, cleaning the brushes, clean the brushes. That is what created my problem, was dirty brushes.
She's young. I think she exercises a lot. She's under
I do
20,
too.
under 30, sorry. So
And I
yeah.
do very sweat inducing hot yoga on the daily.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
I'm disgusting. And what I want to get into really quickly is how to do a facial real quick and an application. So I know that I've done all of these steps and I'm going to skip some. I am going to actually wash my face real quick with an exfoliating wash while I'm talking to you so that you can see what happens a little bit better. We're going to use Yogurt Power Peel today. Yogurt Power Peel is a 2 pH and it's lactobacillus acid. So it's great for your hyperpigmentation. It is good for beginning to balance the skin biome. It is good for getting in and helping to clear out the hormones and that type of thing. It is not for your sensitive skin people. It is not for broken skin. It will burn. If you put this on somebody who has sensitive skin, they may not be able to handle it. I always recommend this for your first time client people. If they tell you that they don't have sensitive skin, let's say that you can see that they're presenting with cheek rosacea like Kelly. Kelly, it's not a good idea, and I have done it on her before I realized what I was doing. She does have rosacea on her cheeks. So this is going to be an opportunity with her where you're not going to put the yogurt on her cheeks. You're going to put the yogurt everywhere else, but not on her cheeks. When you're using Yogurt Power Peel, and I don't recommend retailing this unless you absolutely know that the client knows what they're doing and that they know what the contraindications are. So let's go through contraindications really quickly. We're not going to use Yogurt Power Peel in the same protocol that we're using Hungarian paprika layered over a gel mask. We're going to be very careful using Yogurt Power Peel in the same protocol as you are mixing the vitalizing powder in with a gel mask, just because that vitalizing powder can increase intensity. You are not going to use Yogurt Power Peel in the same protocol that you use nettle and algae treatment. Hungarian paprika, nettle and algae treatment, vitalizing powder are all boosters, if you will. They are all catalyst products. They are not standalone products. There's a million things you can do with nettle and algae treatment. We don't have time to go through that today. If you have specific questions, we can talk about that. But your Yogurt Power Peel, client comes into you not claiming that they have any sensitivities. They're not inflamed. We can kind of see if they're congested, but do we really know to what degree they're congested?
Well, the protocol for that facial is insane. The paprika, the Hungarian paprika and the Yogurt Power Pill combo, is their face shines for weeks like they have highlighter on it when I've done it on my clients.
Have you used them together?
Yes, it's in the protocol. You have a
No.
facial that's in your protocol.
Not, you mean you've layered Hungarian paprika on top of yogurt?
Look at your protocol, your facial.
Which
You have a
one?
facial in there. I'll find it for you and send it to you. One has an ice effect and then the other is layered over, and it's in one of the facial protocols that you
Please
sent
find
me
that
in the
for me
binder.
because I need to change that.
I will, and I'll send it to you. But listen, It's one of my most popular selling facials. It leaves their skin absolutely gorgeous.
Just be careful. As
Okay, well,
all
I have
know.
been, but I sell it for 165 and I've done it before weddings. Their skin literally looks like it has highlighter on it. Here, it's in the facial protocol. I'll send it to you.
Okay, I believe you. And I just so you know,
You have to believe me.
I didn't write all
Maybe it
those
was one
protocols.
that was written before you came and the stuff that you sent,
Very well.
but
Could be.
that facial is awesome.
Okay.
I want to know that facial.
So,
Okay,
okay.
I'll send it to
And,
you.
and I'm not saying that I've never done it because especially in the beginning, my face was so congested that, and a lot of you have heard the story before, but I promise you it's true. I slept with this on my face. I slept with
Yeah,
yogurt
you
on
put
my
the
face.
yogurt power pill and it gives an ice effect, and then you layer it with the paprika and
it
it gives
doesn't-
the warming
Doesn't
effect.
give
And
me an
then,
ice effect.
yeah, it's a beautiful effect. I do
All
it
right.
before weddings and everything. So,
So the yogurt power peel is the first step in decongesting the skin. Now, when you apply yogurt power peel, I'm going to apply it while I talk so you can see the application. When you're putting on the yogurt power peel, it's going to come off
Because
as
it's
a
too-
very thin lotion. When you put it on, it's the same type of thing as when you're applying a serum. See, it's already stinging my forehead. Already. Like I just put it on. Now, again, the first time I ever used this, I slept in it overnight because I didn't feel it at all. I didn't feel anything because my skin was so congested. Right now, my forehead is stinging, okay? Because my skin is no longer congested. What you're doing is you're monitoring your client and you're saying, you may feel a sting. Oh my gosh. Okay, you may or may not feel a sting, and this is going to give us a clue as to where your skin is congested and to what degree. So if I'm feeling it immediately when it's going on and it is stinging, then my skin is not congested. If you put it on and they're like, maybe I feel something, 30 to 45 seconds go by. Now I'm starting to feel a little bit on my forehead. Now I'm starting to feel a little bit on my nose. Now I'm starting to feel a little bit on my chin area. This is going to give you to the degree of how congested they are. Okay, notice how I'm avoiding getting right up around the eye area because it's a 2 pH. If you get it in your eyes, it is going to burn like mad. And I'm doing a super thin layer. I'm not going to get down on my neck. So if I were my esthetician and I'm putting this on my skin for the first time because I don't have sensitive skin, I'm going to tell my esthetician, it is stinging. It is stinging because it is. I mean, that's the reality. Right now, my face is like, woo, Nelly. So this yogurt power peel would stay on for somebody like me, like 2-3 minutes.
Out
And
of 10, like, what are you feeling? You know, like, what is your,
my sting level,
yeah.
it's about a 6.5 to a 7.
Oh, okay.
I started to feel this, Alex. I don't know if you saw, like immediately.
I had to run and put something else inside. The
Immediately.
storm's really bad here.
So one
Immediately,
of the
okay.
things that you can do if somebody like me gets on your table, but you want to have more of that effect of that yogurt power peel, because right now that's it. I need to take it off because it is stinging too much, right?
Okay.
I want you to pretend like this is grape stem cell polishing scrub and we're going to do a peel and polish. Make sure you charge for your peels and polishes so you get the effect of a natural chemical exfoliant, which is your lactobacillus acid, your lemon oil. Remember all of the things that I just taught you that it does. Now you can do this whether they're stinging or not, but especially if they're stinging, what you can do is you can do an add-on treatment and you can add grape stem cell polishing scrub. You can add rose hip exfoliator. Those are the top ones that I would recommend. This is a rolling exfoliator that we don't have anymore, but the way that I would apply this on top, so I've already applied the yogurt, it's sat for a second, and then gentle, because this has pieces and parts in it that exfoliates, gentle application. So I am going to do this with a little bit of pressure in circles. All of the places that I've applied the yogurt power peel. And since the pH in the grape stem cell polishing scrub is higher and the rose hip exfoliator is higher. This is going to calm that yogurt down a little bit. So it's going to enable it to stay on longer. And what's your question, Marissa?
It just a thought that popped in my head that maybe would it be a reason why it's stinging right off the bat is because you just like washed your face and put all the other stuff on before, or that doesn't have
It
anything?
does. It happens every time.
Okay.
Since my skin is not congested at all, I mean, I facial myself twice a week. My
Okay.
skin is not congested. That's your clue. Ooh, her skin's not congested.
Mm-hmm.
Alex.
Yeah, sorry. When you're doing this on a client, what do you suggest using a brush or a Q-tip, like a thick Q-tip, or what is the best way of
I'm a
applying?
hand person because
So then with the gloves and hands, okay.
So a lot of times when I apply things, and I don't have one in here today, but I'm going to show you when I use the mask. I have a silicone spatula.
I have that.
So I dip out and I'll plop,
Okay.
and then I move with my hands. It's really dealer's choice how you want to do it, as long as you're just not using way too much product. Because the reality is some of our products are super thick. Some of them are not so much, like yogurt power peels, not so much. But I'm not applying a lot of layers because molecularly my skin can only absorb so much. So if the water is full of glass and you're just continuously pouring water, or excuse me, if the glass is full of water and you're continuously pouring water, it's just, now that I've applied a secondary for a peel and polish exfoliator on top, can leave this on for about 10 minutes or so. Now we're going to talk about removal.
Yeah.
So your top exfoliator, which is called Yogurt Power Peel, a natural chemical exfoliator, again, 2 pH, lemon oil, does all the things that we talked about. Starts to brighten for the hyperpigmentation, going after balancing the biome, decongesting. It is your #1 litmus test for congestion of the skin. Because remember, that's our second thing that we're doing after we've calmed down inflammation. Are we going to put Yogurt Power Peel on inflamed skin?
No.
No. If we know that somebody's got inflamed skin, but we do want to start that turnover of peel, a good option is to use the AHA fruit peel by itself. That has several different types of acid in it, but it's gentle enough for your inflamed, sensitive skin. The midway between the two of those, and again, patch test if you're not sure, is your botanical AHA peel. It's kind of the sister product to yogurt. I have a lot of product on my face. I have some chunks. I want to remove it. But I don't want to tug and pull on the skin, and I also don't want to take a lot of time to do it. So what am I going to do? Now, obviously, if I have a larger towel, you can do the wrap. No steam, please, with Yogurt Power Peel or Hungarian paprika or nettle and algae treatment. Remember, we're doing this for video purposes, but I'm going to take, this is a wrung out, completely wet cloth, and I'm going to press it.
Can you use like aesthetic wipes and
Really don't want to wipe yet. I mean, you can, but towel
like as a
seem to work better.
towel?
Then you're gonna press. Now, especially with something like grape stem polishing scrub or something like your 7 herb mask. Now notice I'm just pressing, right? Then I'm gonna flip the towel and I'm gonna do it again. And it usually feels really good. And I normally get it to different zones, right? And then I'm gonna take a fresh towel, which I'm not doing right here, and it should, once I've done that, come right off. Okay, so for the most part, I haven't pressed it well enough, but if you press, hold, press, hold, it should just, with gentle pressure, come right off. And I'm very gently touching my skin and not tugging.
So when we do the exfoliating scrub, we put a damp towel over and then a dry one to let it like soak in and get in the heat. Can we do that with this or no? Instead of putting the damp towel and pressing it on, like
Yeah.
when you're ready to take it off.
Yes,
Could we put the damp towel on it throughout letting it sit? Okay.
good. Yeah,
Okay.
That doesn't take away the effect of the,
so if you're using yogurt, of course, you don't want to use steam.
it would be like a cool towel anyway.
I mean, a cool towel, yeah, I mean, I don't see how that would be, too much. So normally when I take, oh, I got it all off. Normally when I take just the yogurt power peel off my face is a lot pinker than it is right now. I mean, it's
Mhm.
still pink.
It's pink, yeah.
You can tone again here if you want to. If you don't really feel that that's indicated, you don't have to. I'm going to because my face is still a little stingy. Then, because we're doing in-service facial, normally during this time is if you're going to do massage, extractions, microderm, something, this is when you do it.
After the peel.
After an exfoliator, right? So whether it's a peel or just a regular exfoliator or
Oh,
both.
I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the time that you would do it. So now would be the time if you're going to do some type of massage, if you're going to do extractions and you're using the saponaria linearia, which is a desincrustation, and especially combined with any type of steam or warm towel or that kind of thing, anything is just going to pop right out. And also when you're doing your vajacials, the saponaria linearia massage cream is key for clients not only for your in-service, but to use on the daily after their soothing herb serum, because it's a desincrustation. And if you know the nature of pubic hairs, we wax or whatever, and then we've got one pore and 5 hairs all fighting to get out of that one pore, and then 3 of them turn back around and say, never mind. And that's where we end up with problems. And that's where those hairs get ingrown and that type of thing. Using the soothing herbs serum first at post shower, using soothing herbs serum pre and post wax, saponaria linearia with the waxing in between. And I'll go through the exact steps because anybody who has had problems with cystic ingrown hairs and things of that nature where they get lesions and that type of stuff, they'll do anything. Toned the skin. What am I going to do next? I'm in service having a facial.
Booster? Well, oh, you're in service, sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, the booster.
We're going to boost. I'm not going to boost because I don't want to put Vita C booster back on my face. That's all I have in here. So just pretend that
Oh, sorry, that was before the booster. It was before the
so
mask.
boosting would be next.
Yeah,
That would be the next. So I've removed the peel. Let's say that I've done all the other things and I'm ready to mask. So apply my booster, pretend I've applied my booster, done. And now I'm going to apply my mask. Now, one of the things I want to show you, and I'm only going to do this on a portion of my face for time reasons. Normally, I would never use Hungarian paprika at the same time, except if I'm Sephora.
I really want to know that protocol.
I'm sure it's on there.
Unless
I'm going to show you a fun way to do a peely mask. We are layering Hungarian paprika on top of a rose gel mask. Put it right here. So usually when I use the silicone spatulas, like I'll blop like that. And then I just, again, same thing. Am I massaging it? Am I rubbing it in? No, I'm moving it around. I have way too much for just this part of my face. I'm moving it around. That's it. So this is a chunky mask, but it's a thin layer, and that's how it's applied. We're not massaging it. We have other times for massage. First part of the double cleanse, second part of the double cleanse, massage cream after the exfoliator. Then we have these, you can get these at any supply store. We can also send you some. Don't do this around small children because it scares them. And then you're going to press this in to your gel mask. Normally I would use a paintbrush, like one of those fan brushes to do this, but I don't have that in here either. All of this stuff is at home. So I have Hungarian paprika here. And again, usually I would use a paintbrush. So this is not going to go as nicely as I would want it to. So I'm going to blop normally I would paint.
Oh, okay, okay.
Wait, so you're putting another layer on top of
I'm
the
putting
gauze?
Hungarian paprika.
Oh, what was the first one?
That was rose.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Rose gel.
So then I'm gonna plop this thin layer on top. And if you're targeting, so let's say you're working on Kelly with the cheeky rosacea, you can still do this, just don't put the Hungarian paprika on her cheeks, right? So you can leave an area that maybe doesn't want Hungarian paprika. Okay, I'm gonna fold this down while we wait, because I'll let it go ahead and pink up my face so you can kind of see an example of how pinky I will get. Then just like with the yogurt power peel, you need to be asking questions and monitoring your client. You may or may not feel some heat with this. Most of the clients do. If it becomes too much, please let me know. So continually checking back in and seeing how they're feeling. Sometimes people are like, holy crud, that is really, really hot. Take it off. And some people are like, oh, I love it, bring it. 9 times out of 10, at least with me, especially because I'll typically do down on the neck, it'll end up when I first take it off, and we'll see how this ends up. It'll end up looking like I missed spots of my sunscreen and I got a really bad sunburn. So it ends up looking super blotchy red. Even if you apply it evenly, it's just the way the skin responds to it. So what is the Hungarian paprika doing? It is hot. So it has capsaicin in it. It's got the red paprika. It's pulling the blood to the surface. Therefore, nutrients can be pushed back down into the skin. So anytime, again, that there is circulation, there is healing and cell turnover. And we're just going to leave this on for a hot second. We're going to go through our waxing stuff real quick. With your waxing, are you just doing waxing, or are you doing a whole vajacial treatment?
Just waxing for me, but I think we're going to be adding on.
Okay, so for right now, we're just going to hit the just waxing.
Just quickly, I don't do waxing, but we have laser. Does that help with
Say
laser?
great.
Okay.
Yeah, especially the home care, pre-laser, pre-wax. Obviously, you want to use something that doesn't have SD alcohols in it, because you don't want to break down the skin barrier. So if you're using wipes or something like that that have SD alcohols in it, get rid of them. Find something that doesn't. You can always use Refreshing Mint exfoliating wash. Totally fine to use that, okay, if you want. And this will, again, we're not going to hit the whole vajacial thing. So prepping, cleaning the area. Prep the area for pre-wax. Use Soothing Herbs micro polish. Just real quick, get the area a little bit wet. Micro polish is an exfoliator that we have. My face is hot, by the way.
How hot is it?
Don't I look great? We should this should be my next post. Anywho, take one for the team. And so use Soothing Herbs micro polish, wipe that off. If you don't have time, at least apply Soothing Herbs serum. Soothing Herbs serum only comes in this size of a bottle. We don't smell it. We don't sell it in the smaller bottles anymore because most people use it on the body. It does leave a mattifying effect. It's got some probiotic in it, so it helps with the biome. And it's very, very calming. So you would apply the Soothing Herbs serum, apply some Saponaria Linaria massage cream. And if you can pop a little heat on there for a moment, like a hot steamy towel, then wax, then laser. Once that all comes off, Soothing Herbs serum again, and then Saponaria Linaria. If they do this on the daily at home, sell them Soothing Herbs micro polish, the Soothing Herbs serum, and the Saponaria Linaria. They do the Soothing Herbs micro polish in the shower. They get out, they put the serum, then they put the massage cream. They'll be golden. And the next time they come in for waxing, if they're doing this on the regular, that waxing is going to be like butter. And if you have people that have already entrapped keloid, ingrown hair type of areas that they need to fix, I had that for months and months and months. I mean, where I picked at them, where I'd even had estheticians work on them, and they were just entrapped in there, right? I thought, okay, this is gonna be here forever. What I did on the daily, I started with the Refreshing Mint exfoliating wash. I would use the Soothing Herbs micro polish. I would get out, use the Soothing Herbs serum. I would use the Saponaria. Then on top of that, I would have the issues where I had the ingrown hairs that had been there forever. I would take the herbal clay spot treatment, which looks like concealer. I would dab it on. If I thought after I had a wax or something that something looked a little suspect, I would dab it in that area and it would detoxify that and pull and keep the hair from growing down. The active ingredient in the herbal clay spot treatment is the ichthymol. Yes, do we have an ichthymol and herbs mask? We do. It's a slightly different formulation than the spot treatment because the spot treatment won't come off and it doesn't come off on your clothes. Once it dries, it's there. You're good to go. We use it for our acne clients that want to do something overnight to spot that in. In addition, we have, and I bring it back to get this to show it to you, is our mattifying serum. So remember I told you that all of our serums have they're super slick and easy. That's in the exception of the mattifying serum. The mattifying serum, if you have somebody that has chronically oily skin where their skin is not balanced in the sebum production, I know that it looks like a concealer as it comes out of the bottle. But no matter what your skin tone is, you tap it in. If you're dark, light, whatever, it will
Mattify.
diffuse.
Amy, the sulfuric moisturizer, what is the activity of that? Because a lot of my clients that use that overnight, it's like their skin is, I have 2 clients who have used it, and it's almost like it's a mask where the skin is kind of like flaking off.
Well, so it may be that the clients that are using it or in the spots that they're using it, so it is for very oily skin.
Okay.
And it leaves a mattifying effect. So if it's flaking, it may be that their skin is not oily enough.
No, the 2 super oily. I mean, but she said
So
after
have
using
them
it for a
try
while.
the mattifying serum. Now this hasn't soaked in all the way, but you can see that it's already diffusing into my skin tone. And you can use this downstairs as well because it has the ichthymol, because it's a serum, it will help to all day during the day be consistently killing bacteria. If there is bacteria to be killed, we wouldn't put this on somebody who's uber dehydrated or dry. You may use it in spots or something like that. You can even spot treat if they have a breakout or something like that overnight. It is super gentle on the skin, but you can see that you can't see it any. Again, it looks like a makeup. Remember, when you are applying it, you're patting it. And it does take a hot minute to dry. So it's going to feel sticky for a bit, whether it's hormonal or bacterial acne. This is their best friend. It's important that when you're using the Soothing Herbs serum tandemly with the Saponaria linearia, the reason that you're putting the Soothing Herbs serum on first is because it has a smaller molecular structure. If you put it on over the Saponaria linearia, it's not going to penetrate.
So this is to kind of prep the skin for waxing, also help ingrowns and any type of whatever they have.
It's going to help to prevent the ingrowns coming in.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And help, and if they're good about using the product on the daily at home, they're going to have the best results as far as no bumps, no inflammation.
So when I go to kind of sell it for them to take home, tell them that's why, and as well it makes it not bumpy and smooth.
Right. So the Soothing Herbs, the exfoliator, which is very gentle, as you know, that's going to help do that daily exfoliation. So as skin is always going to be turning over, whether you help it turn over or not, and typically in that area, it doesn't turn over as fast. And when you have created an inflammatory state through waxing anyway, that skin's gonna get a little bit angry. So we need to turn it over and calm it down. So it's a dual purpose with the soothing herbs micro polish. So we're getting it to turn over and we're calming it down. And then we're putting the soothing herb serum on it so they can leave it on to help balance the biome and calm. And then the saponaria on top of it to also calm. Okay, because it also calms as well, but to encourage growth that's going to happen no matter what, to encourage that growth to come out properly.
I
Yes.
have clients that I treat with laser for their face, and I've noticed they have hormonal acne, and then after the heat from the laser creates that, sometimes the acne that clogs.
Yeah.
Would this work for them, or would
Yeah.
there be a different?
Yeah, it absolutely would. And I would say, since it's on the face and it creates that hormonal, instead of using, you could do for use the soothing herb serum, but then at home, probiotic serum.
That's what I was wondering, because I was thinking of probiotic.
I would use
For this
probiotic
client.
serum on the face.
Okay, probiotic instead of the soothing herb serum.
Correct. You could use
Okay.
it for your
Well, not before I treat them, you mean?
correct. Pre-treatment.
Okay,
But at home
pre-treatment. Okay.
for them post,
Or would you suggest to do the mattifying serum as a spot treatment?
if their skin is combo to oily, mattifying, because the saponaria linearia is going to encourage it to grow out. Conversely, mattifying is going to get in and it's definitely definitely a matte finish, like we call it liquid blotting paper for the skin,
Right.
and it's going to kill bacteria. Yeah.
Okay,
So
so
if they're
probiotic.
more on the oily side, I would say go with the mattifying.
They're not. So then go for the it's a hormonal acne happening.
Yeah, so the probiotic and the saponaria, and then I would do a probiotic moisturizer as well.
Yeah, it's the heat from the laser just
Just
creates
pisses
and
me off.
they have like a
Okay.
yeah.
When you're removing this, now I'm taking it off because I'm a little too like getting too warm. You could leave it on. I mean, it used to be that I could leave it on for like 45 minutes, which obviously you don't have time to do in service. Cool part about this is it just pulls right off. Yay. You can already see how red I am.
So red.
I know, is normal. I
So
get
if your client like sees that, you're just gonna say you're gonna be red for like
no,
an hour
and you
or
need to
whatever.
tell them. You need to tell them ahead of time that you may
Okay.
always use you may, not you
Yeah, you
are.
may. Yeah,
You may. You never know. Like it literally, I've used this on people before and they haven't changed color at all. I'm like, damn. So I've had so many text messages from especially newer Esties with me that have sent me pictures of their clients like, oh my God, I ruined them. I'm gonna get sued from Gary and Paprika. And I'm like, no. So notice how I put it on and I pressed it, right? And I'm gonna flip it and I'm gonna do it again. And it feels really good because my face is hot and the water's cool. And it loosens it up enough, plus it feels good and it calms it down. For then I'm very gently removing and it just makes it come right off real quick.
It looks like you don't want to.
So see,
Mhm.
Wow.
Wow. But some people love that. Like
they
feel
do.
like
Now give me
something
about 45 minutes to an hour and all that will be is glow.
I think they think when they see the red that something's happening. It's like a mind thing where they're like, "Oh, my face is doing something."
I just
They go
explained to
freak
him it's
out.
like it's almost like injecting niacin into your face. I mean,
Yeah.
the cooling effect of the two that I guess the protocol I have,
I should
but
take
the
a selfie
cooling
of this
effect
because
with the heat, it makes it dissolve in about 10 minutes and they're red, but it's not hot. So
Yeah.
I just it's like injecting, like when you take niacin, you turn red because all of that circulation boost and everything, and then they get excited. They want to see the redness because you're telling them it's something that is effective. Like when you explain to them what it's actually doing, I think is kind of the key,
Yes.
letting them know what it's doing.
I never had it like side by side, so that's why I took selfies so I can use them later. But if somebody is complaining, oh my gosh, this is really hot, like really uncomfortable hot. You're kind of holding up a space heater to my face. That's what it feels like. But let's say somebody can't handle it. Oh my gosh, you have to calm this down. What's the first thing you're going to do?
Parsley?
Parsley, yes, but before that.
Remove that product.
Well, yeah, after you removed
Okay.
it, 911 toner. What is it? 911 toner.
Oh, rose hip.
Rose hip. So rose hip toner. Pissed off skin, rose hip toner. then apply cucumber parsley. If you've already allotted time, let's say that you use the AHA fruit peel, which is that beginner peel, but you've covered it with Hungarian paprika, like as your treatment, which you can totally do that, not sensitive skin, then you should create time for a follow-up mask. So really good calm down follow-up mask, easier to put on and take off would be your cucumber parsley. Secondarily to that, this is a little bit harder to take off, but definitely calms is your 7 herb mask. Definitely tone this. Oh, Nelly, that feels good.
And you're using the rose. Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
well, you would.
I would. That's actually sour cherry, but again, I'm using what I have in my office. Just like grabbing it. Oh, that feels so much better. Okay, we're not gonna get this too close to the eyes because that could really irritate. Could you do this without the little gauze mask? Of course you can. Is it just easier to take off and kind of more fun with it? Yeah. You can also create eye treatments with those real thin gauze right here. I'm actually getting ready to write the protocols for those because I know that those gel ones are super popular right now. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna create something that's comparable for us to use. Don't know if you can get the cutout little gauze things, but the big thing with using gauze with any of your treatments is that it's thin enough. A typical gauze pad typically is going to be too thick for you to use when you're trying to layer your product. Show you how thin these actually are. So you can see it's very, 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 very thin. I'm sure you guys are like, wait, what eye treatments? Tell me now. You'll have your little piece of gauze and it doesn't have to look perfect. Soak the gauze with some toner, something like your Hydrotone Rose toner. I wouldn't use apple lemon toner. That would not probably be best. So something like your Hydrotone Rose, grape stem, stone crop. Soak this with toner. You can either put it up to the skin and apply the toner, or you can pre-soak the gauze with the toner and apply. On top of that, you want to apply a thin layer of grape stem serum. Then on top of that, so you're gonna layer right on top of the grape stem serum, cucumber parsley. That is a great eye treatment.
Do you have an eye treatment for like dark under eye? This is like the big one. I know it's genetics, or it could be so many different
It's
factors.
usually gut. Put to get rid of at least the puffiness, Hydrotone Rose Booster underneath.
Okay.
That's good for puffy.
Well, I want to know what you were going to do because I get puffiness and I'm like, okay, tell me what you're going to say.
Using a Hydrotone Rose Booster, and then, I mean, if you don't have the gauze, you can always just pop product right on there. But using the cucumber is that the cucumber and parsley helps to down that inflammation. It's going to help decompress and then hydrate. Bags are usually dehydrated. They're full of inflammatory fluid. When the body is inflamed and it swells, so you eat a bunch of crap the night before and you wake up, or you drink too much or whatever it is, and you wake up and you're puffy. The reason that that's happening is that when the body becomes inflamed, the tissues hold water. And the reason they hold water is because that is the body's way of protecting itself against inflammation. We swell when we're injured or we have a lot of bad food in our system, which often perpetuates around the eyes and other places, and our fingers, is because tissues are going, oh, I have to protect myself from inflammation, so I'm going to hold water. After I've toned, I'm going to serum, I'm going to moisturize.
Is there a product that you always go to for the steam?
Saponaria.
Is it that Saponaria? Okay.
Yeah. Some of the exfoliators and the masks are totally fine with steaming.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
At what point are you usually steaming, Alex?
Well, usually what I do is I double cleanse, and then as the second cleanse starts to happen, I start using the steam. And that's where I don't really use toner, which is a big thing now that I'm planning to switch. No, seriously, I don't use them.
You can use it at that point.
You can steam and then extractions.
You would double cleanse.
Yeah, see, this is a whole different thing.
Yeah, I know. I remember I told you it's going to be different than you're used to. So
I know.
the order is, and I mean, it's not in stone.
No, I mean, I'll play around.
Here's the science behind it. The science is We want to prep the skin. We want to get it super clean and ready. We want to balance the pH because we've just taken it up. Then we want to prep the skin even more, get it nice and open and ready for whatever it is we're going to do next, hence the exfoliation. The yogurt power peel, the grape stem polishing scrub.
Okay, so that's what I would use in
refiner.
place of to open up the pores for extraction.
It will begin to do that. The saponaria linearia will be even more effective. If you're going to extract, you're again going to create an inflammatory state. You want to have it as open and clean as you can possibly have it.
Okay.
I mean, if you choose to do it in a different order, okay. But what we say is optimal, and the reason is because that exfoliation aspect is really prepping the skin. Can you use steam in most of our exfoliators? Yes. Then that comes off. Then saponaria linearia with some steam, warmth, whatever, extract.
Then you would tone? Like when would the toning?
You can double cleanse tone, exfoliate tone, mask tone. I kind of go with how my skin is looking and feeling, or how my client's skin is looking and feeling at the time. Always want to tone after you take the mask off. I mean, if for no other time that you tone, you definitely want to tone once the mask is removed.
Okay.
Especially with Hungarian paprika. Oh, super pink.
What's a good LED mask? Because I put masks with LEDs. Some of them are like LED friendly and they help the absorption.
Yeah. We usually, so ecopeptide gel mask is a great one. Ecopeptide gel mask used on its own, you would apply in 2 thin layers because it is super soupy. It comes in a pump bottle. 1 thin layer, then apply another thin layer. We love to use ecopeptide serum for LED, but you can use the mask.
Oh, can you put the serum and then the mask?
You can.
Okay.
For the eye treatments, so we have like the St. John's Quad Defense. The eye treatment that you were telling us about, do we only do that when that's like one of the things they're mainly concerned about?
The St. John's wort and the Quad Defense eye cream, you would apply, at the end, or they would sell it for them to take home. It's not really, as far as the dark circles, the better one's going to be your Quad Defense eye.
Yeah.
As it gets in, and it helps to get rid of that free radical damage, which is sometimes some of the issue that's going on underneath the eyes. As far as the treatment goes, if you're going to do an eye treatment, that needs to be an add-on service.
Add-on, yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
I cannot express enough, and we are going to do another training on money, but I cannot express enough, and I'm going to show you in black and white, and I know it's no fun to go through that, but really what's the bottom line? Yeah, you love what you do, but you need to eat also. Do not discount your services. Not only does it devalue you as an esthetician, you don't get the right clientele that you're after because you're getting
Even for a promotion, Amy?
I would rather all day long see you do add-ons for a promotion, an eye treatment, a lip treatment, a hand treatment, a foot detox, a scalp massage, a something that costs you maybe 10
like an add-on, like a promotion rather than discounting the service.
Double mask, double exfoliate. I would rather see you do that costs you maybe $1.50 and 10 extra minutes. I mean, you're talking a 15 to 20% discount decreases your bottom line by 195%. Don't do it.
In my future spa, hopefully happening soon, I'm planning to do memberships, which is
and that's fine.
A little different
because then you're creating client retention. Make sure that you put, if you're doing memberships, that you have strict policies on your memberships. Is something we can talk about again. If you do packages, there's expiration dates.
I do packages.
You don't have a cancellation policy that you charge people. Have a cancellation policy. I have a new client that comes in, they're booking their next 3-4 appointments. I tell them, here's my cancellation policy. It's 24-hour cancellation policy. There are some times that I'll give grace, like if you're half dead on the side of the road, and I'll probably literally say it like that, then I won't charge you. But it is an $80 cancellation fee if you cancel outside or inside of that 24 hours. If you cancel, and I tell them this from the beginning, you have 2 no-shows and multiple cancellations, I will fire you as a client. Put the boundaries out there. They'll call and give you those BS excuses why they can't show up. You've got to respect yourself, respect your time, and have your clients respect you and your time. If I don't show up for a doctor's visit, she's going to charge me $350. Your time is very valuable. So you respect it and have your clients respect it.
Where can we see your before and afters of your skin?
YouTube, Instagram. There's one of when I started at Ilike, and then I think it was 3 months later. And then a picture that I happened upon, headshots that I had done when I was 40 years old. I'm 52, 40. Grew up in Florida, didn't know how to take care of my skin, any of that stuff. I was super into nutrition and all that, but I didn't have skincare at that point. I about fell on the floor when I found that picture. I thought I looked good. And then now that I know what I'm looking for when it comes to skin, I'm like, ew.
Another question is, how long did it take you to really see like a significant difference?
I first started to see changes within 2 weeks.
Okay.
After 1 month, I could definitely see a good size difference within.
Do you use the retinol?
I have, and I do.
And I need to start doing all of this now that I have Jen. We can trade facials and stuff. So I've been being really bad.
Retinol is an amazing product. It is very expensive, but it is medical grade. You're getting organic with medical grade with the retinol. When you use retinol, can you use it in service? Yes, you can. Is it retinol? No, it is not. It is different molecular structure, different turnover on the skin completely. It is 11 times faster than retinol. It has far less side effects than retinol does. Do you need to be very careful about sun exposure? Absolutely, yes, you do. And you need to trust your client. So you need to know that they are doing what you are telling them to do as they are rolling retinol into their skincare routine. If your client is not at least on a 5-step Ilike skincare routine, morning and night, faithfully, you will not be rolling in retinol.
Were you doing facials for the changes that you've seen? Like, were you using the yogurt
Yes,
peel
twice
and all
a
that?
week.
Okay, so
So-
you were okay.
1 to 2 times a week. Sometimes I would forget. Saturday is definitely a day that I always do. But yes, one of the things you don't want to do, somebody is coming in with all of these issues. And so for me, I wasn't inflamed, but I needed to be decongested. I needed a lot of help. I needed to be decongested, rehydrated, top priority. If you're screwing around with a lot of different products, you can't give it a college try. If you need help with diagnosing or knowing how to start clients as you're beginning, or even I have people that have been with us forever that still, because some of our products are new, like the retinol, or they've been just using sour cherry and rose forever and they haven't gotten into the higher performing aspects of the line. Contact me, tell me, and I'm always going to ask them, how old are they? What is their Fitzpatrick? Do they have allergies? Do you know what medications they're on? Do they have sensitivities? I'll roll it out for you of what I recommend till you got it. What you don't want to do is be jumping from product to product to product because you're not giving it an honest try. If you're doing that, you're also teaching your client to do that, which you don't want, because most people have thousands of dollars worth of products up and around their bathrooms that are partially used. That's where you as a professional, I personally use and I professionally recommend. And here's why. It's important that you are personally using the products for your skin.
You look amazing for 52.
Oh, thank you. And yes, I'm still red, but it'll go down.
Is it still hot?
But remember, I put yogurt on before, which is something I
Oh yeah. Oh, that was the
do.
super
And
peel.
for me, like, I mean, it'll go down, but it's it's hot. It's hot. Like, this feels really good. It is very, very important, ladies that are brand new, that have not gone through, that you go through that intro training, that you go through product science and mixology training multiple times, because there's a lot of information there. There are a lot of nuances. Do we cover everything there? No. Do we always need to be training and upping the game? Yes, because we're never done learning. We are always teachable. I learn new stuff every day about everything. Don't ever get to the point where your ego gets ahead of you and you're like, no, I got this. I love those that have been around the block a long time and they're like, teach me, especially when it comes to Ilike, because it's so different than what most people are used to.
2 things. The private YouTube, can you give me that address again?
I have to individually send those out.
Okay, if you can send me one so I can send to Amy. And the other thing is, do
Me
we
to
have a
Jen.
group chat?
I'm Amy.
Or Jen, not Amy, what the, do we have a group chat too?
Do you have a Facebook group too, or that's also another
We
one?
do. We have a private Facebook group.
I was just wondering if we had like an SD group chat
Sure.
thing. I thought it would
Do
be
you guys
super
use
cool
WhatsApp?
because then we could like talk about different things. I know a lot of companies have like a group chat that we could do.
So see this Ilike Organic Skincare Partners, and then I have to be friends with you on Facebook to invite you. So couldn't we chat in here? Or would
You can. You can make a
post?
like a topic.
Okay, there's you.
That's-
We did not really hit any skin conditions today, and there are so many out there. And learning to create a protocol is very important. On the beginner one and the second training, I go through that pretty much ad nauseum. So if you need help or you have questions, and there are tips and tricks for the entire body with a lot of our products. So if you have something specific that you want to go after,
There's no dumb question. If we wanted to start, because I know I love Instagram and stuff, posting videos, and do we just follow the protocol? Is there like, do you care? Like,
You've seen all of the stuff I've made available to you as far as social media goes. When you use our logo, and if you need PNG, non-background, high resolution logo pictures, I can give them to you. You need to use the ilike logo that says ilike with a leaf, but does not say organic skincare on the bottom.
can I say it's organic skincare?
Yes,
Like,
but just
oh,
don't use
okay.
that logo. And use the
Logo with-
Cosmos. That's a big one. Logos are all on the Google Drive under the logos.
A lot of Esties don't know, Ilika.
True.
When
Yeah.
people,
As
when
far
when you
as-
start talking about it,
Like about Ilike at all, or where it comes from.
about Ilika, about how where it comes from, all of that stuff. So feedback.
Your feedback goes a long way. Giving us your feedback is very key, and it doesn't just get lost in some email inbox. It's very important, no matter what position you are in a spa, to understand what that looks like from a spa owner perspective, to the esthetician perspective, to the front desk perspective, what the money coming in, out, how much you're actually charging for services, and how you structure that. It's not a fun conversation, but if you don't budget, eventually you're going to run into problems. And especially with a business, whether you are an employee of a business, an independent contractor, you have to understand business. It's not just enough to have a love for something. And everybody's got weaknesses and holes. Everybody does. We do try to help you with that, because both Linda and I come from decades of small business perspective. Happy to help. You should have intro revised, product science mixology. You should have a hands-on training I did at Spa Northwest, 3 webinars, merchandising mastery, client connection, and business savvy spas. If you don't have any of those, let me know. Be a squeaky wheel. The spas that do the best with us, the ones that keep in the closest touch, they're eager to learn, they know what they don't know, and it does help. It doesn't bother me. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your interaction. I appreciate your energy. You guys are amazing.